So we're just about done with all of the main buttons on the intermediate toolbar. The last couple we haven't really messed with too much is redo and undo. So these are there all the time and come in very handy. So let's just take a simple example. Said that's not what, and I think, oh my, I didn't really mean to do those dotted lines that way. I could erase everything, but if I had a bunch of other things going on, it wouldn't make sense. So I can just undo, and it'll actually undo each stroke bit by bit. And then I can go set my lines to be actually the way that I wanted them. And then I get something like that. That's not, but now I still have those arrows on them because I've set that up here, and I can make those more standard to be or not. So I can undo and I can redo. And I've found this to be very helpful. Even things like if I make a whole new slide, new blue side, draw on it, undo the drawing, undo the new blue slide. So those come in very handy. And also this item here, it says stretch rotate toolbar. I usually use this to get back to Flowworks when I'm in another application, because clicking on it essentially takes you into Flowworks. It also expands and contracts the menu into just these two items. It also allows you to rotate. Unfortunately, it's not terribly friendly. So what I have to do is push and hold it and then actually roll the cursor around when it's extended. And so what I'll do is I'll move it down here and then try this weird thing, and it gets this kind of thing. So not at all friendly the way it works, but it does eventually work when you play around with it. So you grab this and then kind of spin. You push the pen down on it and then spin, and you can get this kind of effect. And then you can use some other mechanism to move it around. But again, not very friendly. You'd really wish that it had a little handle on it or something, and it doesn't. So I think that's a real program deficiency. In addition, we saw earlier, or maybe in one of the very beginning tutorials, how under this start there are a lot of options, and one of them is switch user. So if we go to beginning user, keep your eye on that menu as I switch to beginning user, and you'll see how we lose a couple of the critical options, including the new page, the refresh page, and so on. And not refresh, I'm sorry, the redo and undo. But I want to go to the next level. We'll go back to intermediate, and you see those items come back. And then we'll go on to advanced, and you'll see there are a couple of additional options, and those are options that are normally hidden under the start menu. And I'll just go over them very quickly. The additional choices are new, which is convenient to have. So say I didn't want this one, I just click new, don't bother saving, and now I have a new one. I can open an existing one, and this is like any open dialog, takes me where other files are. I'll go ahead and make a new one again, make a new slide. And I also have the ability to close it from right here, to print, or to print preview, to print part of a page, to change backgrounds, and to change background color. So it just adds a few extra options. And if you go into the nitty-gritty of it, you can actually find some additional choices that would allow you to customize this menu. It may be the case that if you're in a shared lab, it's probably best not to tweak that too far. What you want to do is have your IT people just figure out whether this is something that goes with your profile or whether it's something that everyone has to use. Because if you go and customize settings here and other people come after you, they're stuck with those settings you made, or they can tweak them in another direction. So when in doubt, leave it as is and learn how it works. But always be careful about where you're saving your files. And we'll have an additional set of tutorials that actually look at practical examples of applying these to teaching, hopefully to things that are sort of universal, and going into a couple of little more advanced features and practical features of maybe where you're saving files and what you're calling things and things like that. So it's been fun. I look forward to working with you further.